And as always, we are here diving in here on a Friday. Welcome back again, everybody. Appreciate you so very much. The Pittsburgh Steelers need to scrap this whole bullshit. We've all been waiting here. This is a fitting topic here for a Friday. Who gives a shit about Aaron Rodgers? Who gives a shit about Russell Wilson? The Pittsburgh Steelers got to just stop the bullshit, my friends. It's just literally been a week of just weird. It's just weird. Again, we've talked about it all week. Just recapping the week, man. We've talked about this franchise not being the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore. They're just not that franchise anymore, and it's just odd. We've talked about that. We've talked about how this quarterback situation has progressed in different directions. Mason Rudolph now being a Steeler, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers situation, all that, and all you've gotten all week is just clickbait bullshit, people trying to stir drama. Hell, you even had Najee Harris out on the West Coast today, getting introduced to Los Angeles Charger fans and the media there. And all people wanted to spin it into was Najee Harris taking a stab at the Pittsburgh Steelers because he said their facilities there remind him of college, and it's not like that everywhere else. Like he was taking some jab at the Steelers. Like, are we really in this type of slow news period that people can't come up with things that are a little bit more on topic? A little bit more creative and actually talk about the game of football and not the bullshit. That's so dumb. In no way, Najee Harris wasn't taking a stab at anybody. I don't think he really gives two shits. He's back on the West Coast, where he's from, and he was saying, wow, yeah, they got nice facilities, man. It's not really like this everywhere. It reminds me of being back in Alabama. And all you could see today were tweets about how Najee Harris took a stab at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then you see all these made-up bullshit things talking about Russell Wilson, he's going to feel some type of way. Well, let him feel some type of way. Who gives a shit what Russell Wilson has to say? Especially if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because guess what, guys? You don't got to kiss his ass either. Who cares? Who cares? And the time is now to stop this bleeding at the quarterback position. Stop the bullshit. Stop trying to make it something that it doesn't need to be. Get back on the path of actually trying to fix this situation and coming up with an old guy. And the only excuse that people can give is, well, they're the only ones left. And I understand why you say it, because they are the only ones left. But guess what? Sometimes you don't need to scrape the bottom of the barrel to suffice or to make it go. You just don't. And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's got to stop. Stop the bleeding. Stop the bullshit. Formulate a real game plan on how to figure out how to bring in your next franchise quarterback. Try to figure out how you're going to, for the third time in franchise history, create something really, really super, really special, and really get toward winning a championship here in the city of Pittsburgh. What's up, Sean Sleeping Lady? Daniel Warman. What's up, American Militia? Tom Ford in the house. Bryce, go Lions. Ty Edits, what's up? Go Ravens. He says Ravens. Ravens. Boogeyman. Okay. If you have a question, put it in there. Hey, from Denmark, where are you from? I am about an hour outside of the city of Pittsburgh, hour and 15 minutes. I'm in a place called Morgantown, West Virginia. Take me home, country road, to a place I belong. You know that tune, don't you guys? You know that tune. Steve Winters in the house. Hey, Jason, hope you and your family are doing well. I got to ask you a quick question. Did you hear anything about Pickens going to Dallas? I did not, but guys, it's been beautiful weather. I've been trying to unplug because all I've heard about is the bullshit quarterback situation that doesn't even need to be a topic of conversation. But here's the thing, Steve. I would not be shocked if George Pickens is traded. I would not be shocked. And I say this why, guys, because the Pittsburgh Steelers got to come to the realization eventually that you're going to need to accumulate high-value draft capital for the 2026 draft that's being held in Pittsburgh. And when you go out there and the commissioner is announcing your first pick in the draft, like your very first pick here in the first round, if the commissioner announces, whoever they have announced it that day, whoever announces that pick, You want them to go out there and you want them to make a statement. You want it to be somebody special, and I think that trading George Pickens gives you that. And I know people don't want to hear that. They want to hear about, what about 2025? What about this? What about that? How are we going to win now? Sometimes you got to make additions by subtractions, and it would be something that could happen. It could be a draft day trade. It could be any minute. You don't know. But would it be out of the realm of possibility? Absolutely not. Now, here's the thing with George Pickens. You could control him for 2 more years, guys. And if you add somebody else special into that wide receiver room, any other special wide receiver into that room right now as it's currently constructed, I truly believe you could have really something absolutely dynamic. And if you're Mason Rudolph, I think you have a great opportunity to show the NFL to shut up the naysayers. And it's amazing how God brings you back to certain things. It's amazing how things all work out. And Mason Rudolph comes back to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the place where it started for him, after a year in which he played for a real shitty team down in Tennessee, a team that's in real flux, a team that you weren't going to do anything good with anyway. It was just a place that they were going to pay you a couple bucks. You went there. But it's amazing how God brought the opportunity back, and he's put that back on Mason's feet. And he's a man of God, and I'm a man of God. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't think that God works in mysterious ways, because I think he does. And I think he was brought back here for a reason. And I truly believe Mason's going to get a chance to succeed. And I think if you arm this room with a bunch of weapons, you build this roster into an actual Super Bowl contending roster as a whole, and you have that piece at quarterback that you're missing, I think Mason Rudolph could be absolutely serviceable. I think that he can march a football team down the field and score points. And I think if you can get your head out of your ass on defense, I think you'll be able to get some things done. You had the highest paid defense last year that couldn't get off the field sometimes, that let massive amounts of rushing yards up, that wasn't able to stop the run, that really sometimes just got absolutely picked apart defensively. You have superstar players on there that you didn't really try to move around and really use them in exotic ways, and you kind of let that opportunity slip through your hands. And I know the Steelers, they started out 10-3 last year, and they had an excellent opportunity to be really, really good and finish really, really well, and they should have won the AFC North. They had a chokehold on that division. They beat Baltimore at home. They were on a roll. They were, again, 10-3, and the opportunity sat in front of them right there. But yet that defense wasn't able to tighten up. And for being the highest paid defense, that's kind of shitty, man. And I don't blame it all on the players. I got to put some of that at the feet of Terry Austin and Mike Tomlin. Well, Mike Tomlin. Because that's his defense. That isn't Terrell Austin's defense. Terrell Austin would be a little bit more exotic, I believe. I believe Terrell Austin really likes the blitz a lot more and things of that nature. But if you're Mike Tomlin and you look at that defense and you say to yourself, what the hell happened? It's just kind of puzzling, man. But again, I feel like that defense really failed. I don't think it was all on Russell Wilson at all. Did Russell Wilson play the best? No, but he had no run game. He had no real schematics to speak of. I hear there was some tumultuous situations between him and Arthur Smith after that Cincinnati game, to where they weren't really on the same page in which they wanted to take that offense. Russ really wanted to push the ball down the field deep, and you had Arthur Smith really wanting, and Michael Tomlin, to establish that run game, and they weren't able to do that. Their scheme up front and the amount of injuries they had, and just the way that offensive line was in constant flux and constant turmoil throughout the season, they weren't ever able to really get a cohesive group up there to establish a real ground and pound type attack. And again, you had two forces pulling that offense in different directions, and it had no real identity, and that was the real problem there. Yeah, they could score points here and there, but it was just the same old story that we had seen 1,000 times from this football team, and it was just really disheartening. What's up, Zachary, the son of Jay? What's up? Daniel Worman in the house. Trashium is your favorite team, Steelers? I can't tell. How do you feel about your head coach? I feel Mike Tomlin definitely has immense amount of improvement that he could be making here, guys. He fails in so many different situations. situational football being one of them. He's not good. And let's just cut all the bullshit out and really just take everything off. And we're not even going to call out his in-game deficiencies at all. We're just going to say about one thing, and I brought that up just a couple seconds ago, and that was this offense of the Pittsburgh Steelers had no identity, and the defense had no identity. You really don't know what they wanted to do. They looked all over the place. They really didn't have any true identity. And some people will say, well, yeah, they did, because Mike Tomlin said they want to run the football, so that's their identity. They never established an identity at all. They may have, in theory, had an identity, but they didn't establish that identity. And again, guys, that got to fall at the feet of the coaching staff, because you got to put the players in the position to succeed. You got to give them the tools and the schematics in which they're going to be able to succeed. And if you can't do that, you got to take some of the blame, guys. And I don't know when Art Rooney is going to say, look, man, enough is enough. I've seen the same old bullshit. I've had enough of it. I don't know when that day comes. I don't think that it ever comes. I think Mike Tomlin has a ticket to be here until he wants to, or until he doesn't want to, rather. So definitely, I'm not a huge Mike Tomlin fan at the moment. I think he's a great people person, but as a football coach, I can't get on board with his football intellect. I just can't. I don't think it's top shelf. I do not. And that doesn't come from me just saying that out of the blue. That comes from 18 years of watching this develop. That comes from watching the highs and the lows. That comes from me watching Mike Tomlin with a team that he didn't construct ride the coattails of it. And so be it. He fell into a good situation. I'm not going to fault him for that. But what I do fault him for is once that team was gone and dismantled, how he's never really been able to get back into those winning ways, to be ultra competitive, to be tops in the NFL. There was a brief time with the Killer Bees, but for a guy that's supposed to be one of the league's best head coaches, that train sure derailed too. And it makes you wonder of why that happened, Let's keep going through the chat a little bit here. I'll catch up. Zoc Curry in the house. Let's fucking go. Hello, Mike Drop Mafia. What's up? Where are we at? TD in the house. Sean says, hey, what's up, TD? Daniel. It's James Sports. Why'd you take Slay? Well, first of all, none of us took Slay. The Pittsburgh Steelers, James Sports, took Slay. Guys, I don't know why everybody always says, why did you? I'm not that general manager there. I don't own the team. I'm not a part of the team. I'm a fan of the team. So why did the Steelers take Slay? Because they thought he still has gas in the tank. They thought that they could get something out of him. And I thought it was not a great move immediately, and I thought it was an overpay, and I still think it's an overpay for Slay. I think $10 million is a little bit too much for his age currently. At the cornerback position, because I've told you about what you have to be able to do there. If you've watched the show before, I've told you what corners have to do. But I did like the move in theory that they brought in Eccles, because I think Eccles can help that situation, and I thought they're adding enough, and I think, again, they have immense faith in Corey Trice, and I think Corey Trice is eventually going to be a good player. But Corey got to stay healthy, and that's his biggest issue, because he's lost so much time on the football field, so many moments to where he could have been developing, and that has been the story of Corey Trice, a real physical freak, tall, lengthy, big guy, ready to roll, man, a guy that's really an intimidating factor out there on the edge, a guy, though, that has to get into the game, has to start progressing in that way, and the only way to get better is being out there game in, game out. All right, guys, we're here on Steel City Live. We're always chasing 100 likes here on the live stream, at least. We want to get more, but of course, we're always chasing 100 likes, so make sure you're double tapping that screen, hitting that like button, sharing the show if you would, please. And if you're not a member, make sure you join us here and subscribe at Mike Drop Sports. It's the place to be. Daniel Warman in her house. Rooney's dad is spinning in his grave. This is not the Steelers everyone is used to. Absolutely not. I agree, man. 1,000%. And that's why I say stop the bleeding at the quarterback position. Stop this bullshit of trying to Band-Aid it. You cannot continue this path, man. And for all the fans out there that want to get somebody else other than Mason, I do too. I think you need more, but I think you need to go out there and get a rookie. And I think Mason Rudolph starting isn't the end of the world, and it could be way, way worse. And people seem to forget what Mason did his last part of his Steelers career. The last time we saw him in the black and gold, I thought that he did really, really well. And if that's any indication of what he would be able to do back in the black and gold, imagine having a top 5 quarterback play for the entire season. Because Mason, during that 5-game stretch, was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL statistically. Are we going to overlook that and act like it just didn't happen? Because I'm not. Now, I'm going to remember also the times to where he didn't do so well and to where he wasn't able to get things done the way that you would have hoped, to where you wouldn't have thought that you wanted him as your starter. I won't forget those times either. But the NFL is what have you done for me lately? And I understand it's time in Tennessee, but I'm not holding that against the guy either. It was a new team. It was a fresh start. However, he got thrown into a really shitty situation. He had really no offense to speak of there, man, and wasn't able to get it done. They had no defense to speak of. I'm not going to hold that time against him. I'm just not. I'm going to go with what he did in the black and gold. I'm going to go with what I think he can do. And again, I think Mason Rudolph can definitely rise above all the bullshit. And man, what a motivating factor to have all of the fan base, all of the naysayers out there talking about how piss poor he is. And if he gets the opportunity, maybe he shines. Mason all day. Sean, Aaron Rodgers, no thanks. Give me Mason, baby. Ryan Stevenson, you need Rodgers. Fight for a championship this year. What makes anyone think that Aaron Rodgers coming to the Steelers all of a sudden makes them a Super Bowl contender? Why would that be the case, guys? Answer me. Somebody tell me why Aaron Rodgers makes the Steelers an automatic contender. Because what did I just say? The NFL is what have you done for me lately? In 2 years, with the New York Jets, he, won 5 games in 2 years, and I understand he tore his Achilles and was hurt. I get that, but he won 5 games with an absolute loaded roster offensively. That roster offensively was absolutely loaded. They had Devontae Adams. They had, Garrett. Oh, God, they had a bunch of people. Breece Hall. They had a bunch of people. Mike Williams. Who else, man? Lazard. The list goes on and on and on, and these were all hand-picked people by Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he had people that he was absolutely comfortable with. Tons of people. So why all of a sudden does that guy coming into the Pittsburgh Steelers make the Steelers Super Bowl contenders? I don't see how that is possible. I just don't. So why would you go out there and overpay for a guy that won 5 games last year and act like it's the savior of the franchise? That's 42 years old when the season starts. How does that make sense, guys? It doesn't make sense. Everybody isn't going to be Tom Brady. That's what we're looking for here. Everybody's hoping and praying that you're going to get the same result that Tom Brady did when he went down to Tampa. That's a one-off, guys. That's a once-in-a-great-while thing that happens there. That isn't something that happens all the time. Come on, guys. You're trying to follow suit from other people, and if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, go back to being the innovator. Go back to being the leaders. Don't become the followers. Don't become part of the sheep. Don't become part of the herd. Don't allow the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles to be the shepherds. Don't allow that to be the case. If you want to be winners and you want to make waves in the NFL and you want to be consistently good, you got to be the leaders. You got to go out there and establish new and exciting, innovative things, offensively, defensively, on special teams. You have to be cutting edge in your play calling. You have to be cutting edge in your preparation, and your weight training, and your cardio, and your diet. You have to be cutting edge and leading in everything. That's what you got to do. And going out there and getting an old man at quarterback doesn't fix your franchise and make them Super Bowl contenders all of a sudden. It doesn't. So why risk the future in any way? Why go out there and overpay when you can currently right now save that money that you would spend on Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson and build this roster into something special and give Mason Rudolph every weapon possible to go out there and be successful? Meanwhile, you go in there and you draft a Shuck, you draft a Jackson Dart, you draft a Will Howard. And if need be, if Mason's playing that bad, you go to the young guy and you let him play with the weapons that you put in there. You let him play with a quality roster and let him develop. And if they don't start developing by the end of the season in 2026, by then you've built up a ton of high-value draft capital. You have 4 compensatory picks. Maybe you get a high pick because your team sucks anyway. And you go in there and you trade up and you make an absolute splash and you bring somebody generational in there. And now all of a sudden, that young buck's coming into a team that is a Super Bowl caliber roster with exciting dynamic playmakers all over the place, a young, exciting offensive line that's heading into year 2, hopefully really healthy, a defense that's starting to get a facelift and a freshen up. What would be the problem? All of a sudden, the Pittsburgh Steelers now start to become contenders. Now start to be dangerous, guys. That's how this got to work. Not going out there and getting Aaron Rodgers. Not going out there and bringing Russell Wilson in. Not creating turmoil inside of your organization where people can clearly see that you're going down the wrong path, that you're clearly just being desperate, that you're clearly not being the Pittsburgh Steelers team that they thought they were coming to, clearly not that stable, hardcore, cornerstone franchise of the NFL that everybody was used to inside of the fan base. You're clearly not that. So why don't you reestablish your position inside of the NFL? Why don't you take back what is yours if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers? And that is being a cornerstone model franchise of the entire NFL, making people envious of you. Bringing back all the hate. Bringing it back, man. Making people hate you because they ain't you. That's what you got to do, guys. Get that. That's it. That's the goal. Yeah, Joe Flacco. I see that, Brandon Welsh. Pats suck, Ryan. Mark Malone, never count on trading up for a talent. It will most likely be a bust. Yeah, you never know. You never know. I'm not saying you got to trade up big and far. I'm just saying see where you sit inside of the draft. Guys, I'm going after a guy like Arch Manning. I want a guy with a last name and a pedigree that excites me. I don't know. Mason Shuck have a great chance of moving the ball and putting it in the end zone. I agree, Mark. I think that that's the direction they should go. I believe that. And I believe that you could get Shuck in the 3rd round. I think people are going to overlook him. I truly do. Can't believe you two held this gem from Mel. What's up? Or from me. What's up? I don't know, D. Turn on that notification bell. Heavenly Hands, this year maybe my first year not watching football. Don't let this affect you. Don't let down years affect you, guys. Don't be fair weather fans. Be fans through the good times and the bad times, and I know it sucks. And I get it. I understand. It's hard to watch at times. Imagine being me that talks about the team all the time, going back and watching the game a second time, especially after a tough performance where they sucked it up. And I go back and I rewatch it. And I put myself through that torture. But I do it. So be a real fan and say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to be through it through the thick and thin. It's like a marriage or something. The other person might do something heinous to you, but you know what? You're like, I got to stick it out, man. Through thick and thin. Got to do it. That's what this is like when you're a fan of this franchise. It's not all going to be good times, guys, and let's really be honest with ourselves. The majority of the times they're going to suck because they're not going to be performing the way that you want them to. Because guess what, guys? We want them to win every single week. Every single week, and we know that isn't going to happen. We know that that's not possible. So you have to be able to go through the good times and the bad times. All right, guys, you got to double tap that screen for us here on Steel City Live, only on Mike Drop Sports, the best damn channel on YouTube for talking Steelers football, talking football in general. In my opinion, make sure you join the best community, man, on YouTube. We're about to that 5,000 subscriber mark. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're not already. And remember, guys, hitting that like button is absolutely free. So don't be afraid of it. Hit it. Hit that like button and help your creators out there continue to bring good content to you. Rudolph's trash. Come on, guy. You didn't get DK for that guy to throw to him. I don't know why Mason's trash. He has a big arm. He's smart. He's a good teammate. He went 4-1 the last time he was in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. He had the Pittsburgh Steelers within 7 points in Buffalo in the wild card round after his team had fumbled like 3 times and the defense couldn't stop Josh Allen at all. But yet Mason Rudolph had him within 7 points in that ball game. That's terrible. That's trash. With half the roster that they have now. That's trash. I'm wondering, guys. I'm wondering. What was wrong with Mason Rudolph when he came in and he saved Mike Tomlin's ass? I'm just saying, was he trash then? He's not trash, guys. And I know just because he isn't a big name that they're paying $50 million to, that a lot of you are going to say that they're trash. But that tells me one thing. You're not watching the same game I am. You're not watching the same things I am. That's just all that's telling me. You're not intently watching it. You're going by what big box media forces down your throat and tells you. You're not formulating your own idea about it. That's what it's telling me when you make that comment saying Mason's trash. And again, I'm not dogging you. I'm just saying you're relying on somebody else's opinion to dictate your thoughts, and that's not good. Formulate your own thoughts. Watch the tape. Watch how Mason Rudolph was able to throw that football down the field. Watch how he was able to utilize the middle of the field. Watch how he was able to check in and out of plays to utilize the run game in an offense that was being guided by offensive coordinators that were interim offensive coordinators because you fired your offensive coordinator. You had Kenny Mittens and freaking Mitchell Trubisky at the helm. Mike Tomlin standing there with his hands just folded up, praying, hoping Mitch would win a game, knowing that he was the wrong choice, knowing that the best quarterback on that roster was the third quarterback, knowing that he should have inserted Mason earlier, but he didn't want to admit that he was wrong. Finally, he had to go to Mason Rudolph because he had no choice. And Mason came in and saved the day. How is that trash? Explain it to me, guys. I mean... Caleb Brooks, Mark Malone, Zach Curry. How do we sign DK without a damn quarterback? You have a quarterback, guys. And again, just because you make the roster better doesn't mean that you're not trying to win. That doesn't mean anything that you didn't go out there and sign one of these quarterbacks that the so-called experts tell you that you should sign. That doesn't mean anything, guys. Why did you sign DK Metcalf? To make this roster better. To build a roster that any quarterback could play with. That's why you did it, guys. That's why you did it. All right, guys, hit that like button for us. 2 more, get us up to 30, and then we are well on our way to 100 likes. We're going to continue through. Absolutely, Mark Malone at Caleb Brooks. We have one. We do. His name's 2. He's the true 2. On this football team. His name's Mason Rudolph, guys, and I love it. I hope he ends up starting. I've been praying every day, asking my Father God to please allow Mason Rudolph to be the starter week 1. To please allow Mason Rudolph to have 1 year of being the guy. Giving him all the weapons that you should be able to give him. Allowing him to play behind an offensive line that's just full of top shelf talent that's going to grow together and be really, really good. People are going to be, I'm going to say it right now and people can mark it down. You can bookmark this shit because I don't think I'm wrong. And I don't say that very often to where I'm this confident. In 2 to 3 years' time, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be in an AFC championship game. Mark my words. Stamp it. And it won't be with who you think should be at the quarterback position. It's not going to be some old guy. It probably won't even be Mason, but Mason is an excellent bridge quarterback until you find somebody. I think that they are going to get a young guy here really, really soon. I do. I think the opportunity is right here in front of them. I think they are doing the right things by building this roster into a competitive one, and they are going to go after a top flight guy that's young and allow Mason to be the tutor, allow Mason to hold that starter spot, to allow him to build this franchise, to build this roster, and to hand the reins over eventually to a guy that's really, really young. And when it's time, and they're not going to prematurely just hand it to a young guy. Mason's going to get hurt or something like that. Some situation will come up to where this young guy gets in and spot starts for a few weeks, lights the world on fire, and it'll be like when you saw Ben Roethlisberger take over for Tom and Maddox. He just never hands back over the keys. It'll be a seamless transition, and all this bullshit that we've talked about for so long will seem like a very distant memory and won't be in our heads, and we're going to be talking about how our young gunslinger is back there taking us to new heights and how this football team has responded, and you'll have all the fair weather fans back out rolling around talking about how they've been a Steeler fan for 30 years, but they haven't watched in the last 4, but they're here, man. They're diehard because the Steelers are good again. So, hey, it'll be all good. That's just the way this is all going to go. I'm just telling you. But mark my words, 2 to 3 years, the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing for AFC championships again. I'm not saying Super Bowl winners. I'm just saying they're going to be competing for AFC championships again. They're going to be back in the conversation. Patty Rodgers coming to the Steelers makes them not even making the playoffs. That's from Patty Rodgers coming to I don't think it improves this team that much, guys. I really don't. And he's a fucking headache, guys. He's a headache. Anybody that does what he's doing right now, honestly, what decision do you have to make here? If it wasn't all about money for Aaron Rodgers or all about his selfish bullshit and the way he wants to say, everybody, look at me, look who I am, I'm Aaron Rodgers, look at me, yay. If he didn't have that ego and or he wants a bunch of money, it's a no-brainer on where to go because the Minnesota Vikings don't want you. They want J.B.J. McCarthy. Let's be honest there. They want a young guy. They don't want a Band-Aid. I don't think that their head coach is that stupid. Why do you think they didn't hold on to Sam Darnold, who went 14-3? If they were going to hold on to somebody a little bit older than J.J. McCarthy, they'd have held on to Sam Darnold for fucking to be the guy who went 14-3 for him in the regular season last year. They'd have been content with that. But no, they want to take it to new heights. They want to bring in a guy like J.J. McCarthy that shows young, high upside. They don't want to bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers that's old and on the wrong side of 40. So why should the Steelers want to? And if you're the Steelers, literally, if you think that he could be a good fit, you call him up. You say, here, man, you got till 4 o'clock tomorrow. This is our offer. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you don't want to come here, oh well. But Aaron Rodgers, if he didn't have a super ego and didn't want everybody to look his way, he wouldn't be taking this much time because, guys, it's a no-brainer. If it's between the New York Giants or the Pittsburgh Steelers, where are you going? Where's your only real opportunity to succeed? It's not New York. They have a shitty fucking team. They have a shitty franchise. It's poorly run. I'm just saying. The Giants have been good throughout the years, but right now it's not being ran correctly. They have a very shitty team. I also have a good chunk of change. Rodgers to Pitt plus 125. Well, there you go. You might want it then, Ryan. Heavenly Hand says the year that last year broke her heart, and I can see why. A 10-3 football team that takes a monumental slide. But there's not one way you can point your finger at that football team last year and say that this was the exact reason why that thing failed. There were several reasons why that thing failed. Now, there's one person you could point the finger at because he allowed everything to snowball and accumulate into one giant clusterfuck, and that's Mike Tomlin. He was driving the clown car, man. He was the head clown in that situation. And what? You want to beat a man. You want to be the head guy. You want the title. You want to be able to talk shit when things go well. When things go bad, they got to lay it at your feet, though, too, right? What's fair is fair. All right, guys, make sure you're double tapping that screen for us here on Steel City Live. I'm your host, Jason, as always, only here on Mic Drop Sports, the best place for sports content. That's right here, man. Football content, you're coming to the right place. This is the place to be. Tomorrow night or tomorrow, sometime during the day, I will post it early once we figure out the time. Sean and I will recap the free agency, this week of free agency here from start to finish. We'll talk about all the players that the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed, didn't sign, and how this all affects this football team moving forward, and what this Pittsburgh Steelers team is looking like headed into the summer, headed into the crucial periods of team growth. And Sean and I will dissect that. And we'll also dive into the first two picks for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that will be rounds 1 and 3 as it sits right now. And we will give our picks and which direction we believe the Pittsburgh Steelers should go with those picks as the roster currently sits. And again, guys, acquisitions can be made, trades can be made. So our choices now could definitely change by the time the season starts or by the time the draft comes around. Why? Because situations change, and that's football. The situation's constantly changing. Also, guys, if you have any show ideas, some content ideas that you want me to discuss, things that you want to hear about, you can always email us, micdropsports@yahoo.com. Go ahead and shoot us a message, shoot us an email, and we'd be happy to explore some of the situations, some of the topics that you would like us to discuss as a fan base. Because guess what? Jason isn't always right. Jason isn't always the way, saying the way things should go. So you guys can definitely drop a line with any type of content ideas that you want to hear. So let me know. Seymour Whitetail, the Cleveland Browns quarterback, has a Super Bowl ring, and the Steelers quarterbacks do not. Yeah, Kent Mitten's got a Super Bowl ring, man. He took that. He was the last player for the Eagles at quarterback to play in the Super Bowl. Kaiser, I think we've been cucked by offensive coordinators as well. Art is buns. Arthur is not the sole person to take the blame there, guys. If you think for 1 minute that he isn't on marching orders for a certain style of play from Mike Tomlin, you're sorely mistaken. Mike Tomlin is one of the biggest micromanagers in sports, guys. And don't think for a minute that he doesn't kibosh some shit in that building, in that room. Do you think Arthur Smith wanted Russell Wilson as his quarterback last year? It was very apparent he did not. But the guy that he wanted to be quarterback was on the roster, and he had to sit him down. He wasn't allowed that. So, how do you blame Arthur Smith if he's not getting the tools that he wants to be able to utilize his skill set with, talking about his brain and his schematics? If he doesn't have the proper tools to execute those schematics, can't fully blame him. Robert Road in the house. We will see who is available when we are drafting as far as quarterbacks. Be it early or late, how much they like a particular quarterback should determine when to turn to the draft card. When to turn in the draft card. Don't reach for it, pick it. Absolutely, you can't reach, guys. And Robert brings up a good point there that I have to emphasize. If you're the Steelers now, and when I'm talking about here on Mic Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live, when I'm up here and I'm talking to you guys and I'm telling you they need to take a swing at a quarterback here in 2025, they need to take a big swing at a quarterback in 2026 when the draft is in the city of Pittsburgh, I'm saying exactly what Robert's saying. You don't grab, you don't reach, you don't make a move that doesn't make sense. If that player, that quarterback doesn't fit that draft position, and you don't have him ranked in that draft position, don't pick him. Pick a different position. Don't reach. Don't put heavy expectations. Don't take a guy in the first round that doesn't deserve to be a first round pick, that you don't believe to be a first round pick. I'm just saying, that's what makes sense. Draft best player available at the time. And guess what, guys? You're going to find a time inside of the draft that the best player available might be a Shuck, might be a Jackson Dart, might be a Will Howard. It might be. Possibly. Maybe. Maybe a Shedeur Sanders falls to you at 21. Maybe you make your move there. Maybe Jackson Dart's still there at 21. Maybe Shuck's there in the third round when you pick. Everybody's bypassed him, but there he just sits. And you know what his skill set is. You understand he has some injury concerns. But there he sits. And you got a third round draft pick to burn and a possible hole at the quarterback position. So maybe you take that swing right there. Maybe you've satisfied enough of your holes inside of free agency that you're comfortable with that. Maybe. Daniel Warman. If they sign Rodgers, it's just to please the fans. Rodgers has been terrible for years. He hasn't been Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Absolutely not, guys. He's a 4-time MVP. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame player. But the Aaron Rodgers of 2025 is far different from the Aaron Rodgers of 2020, 2021. Far different, guys. I mean, leaps and bounds different, guys. We have to understand that. You're not getting the same player that beat you in the Super Bowl. You're not getting that same Aaron Rodgers that was up there holding a WWE belt up in the air, clapping hands with A.J. Hawk and them, with Matthews. It's not the same guy. It's not the same guy that played in that game where you watched Rashard Mendenhall fumble. It's not the same game. Just saying. Tomlin needs to be cut for this crap. That's from Heavenly Hands. Pickett sucks. Seymour Whitetail, LOL. Brandon Welch, go get Joe Flacco. Let me get down in the chat, guys. Sorry, I can't answer every chat question. I'm trying to go through and pick some. Ryan Stevenson, stop. You'd give your next 3 ones for May? For Drake May? You're fucking crazy, Ryan. Crazy. Batshit crazy. I wouldn't give you one number 1 pick for Drake May. I wouldn't give you a single number 1 pick for Drake May. Not even 1, let alone 3. That's terrible assessment. Terrible. I might give you a 5th and a 6th for Drake May. Maybe. That's just my opinion of him. I told you who the best quarterback in that draft was last year, and that was Jaden Daniels. Y'all seen it for your fucking self. I don't even have to tell you. We the best in PA. The Eagles are the best in PA right now. They're the Super Bowl champions, guys. We can't sit here and go, Steelers are the best team in Pennsylvania right now. You can't say it. You can't say it. You can't say it until you earn it. All right, guys, listen to Sean. Smash that like button. It's absolutely free. We're always chasing 100 likes here on the live stream. Thank you for all the viewerships. Super chats are always open, guys. I do go through the comments. I try to just pick some out here randomly and get as many of you involved as possible. But if you want your chat read instantly, super chats are always available. And don't forget, 99 cents a month gets you into the Mic Drop Mafia membership program, and that helps support our work. It's 99 cents a month. It helps support creators. Also, we do giveaways and things like that, which we haven't done any for a while, so we need to do one. We have a big one coming up when we hit 10,000 subscribers, so make sure you are involved in that. Let's keep going. D, it feels even better winning a ring when you were watching them through the bad times. Absolutely. D, last night I felt like you and I went back and forth a little bit. But you have a really good comment here, man. A very good comment. It feels even better winning a ring when you were watching that team through the tough times, through the bad times. It does. And I've been a Pittsburgh Steelers fan for a very long time. So as many people inside of this chat. There's many people that have been fans for years of your favorite team. Whatever team you've been a fan of. And you've seen the lowest of the lows, man. And hopefully you've seen the highest of the highs when they've reached the mountaintop and they finally kissed that sticky Lombardi. When they won in 2005, that was on my birthday, guys. February 5th, 2005. It was on my birthday. And I gotta say, that was an emotional win for me. I don't get emotional about football games in terms of like, man, this is fucking crazy. Like, I was damn near in tears because it just felt like I had watched that team for so long and I've seen so many heartbreaking losses, so many tough situations that they have been in, so many AFC championship games lost by Bill Cowher and company. And to finally reach the mountaintop and to hoist the Lombardi trophy, I felt like I was there. I felt like it was me hoisting that Lombardi trophy up. It was on my birthday. I felt like they were giving me a birthday present. It was absolutely amazing and absolutely how great it is to be there through the hard times and when they finally get it done. Oh, does it feel so, so good. Too evil, too hope in the house with the super chat. Tomlin forever and Kenny Pickett 10 years for $800 million. I think Kenny Pickett should be the first $1 billion quarterback in the NFL. Why not? Give him a lifetime $1 billion contract. Give Mike Tomlin a lifetime extension and build this roster around the two greatest players and coaches in NFL history. That is the best 1-2 punch in NFL history. Player, coach, quarterback, head coach, Kenny Pickett, Mike Tomlin. Got to go into Canton. Shrine them now. Oh, my God. Enshrine those guys. They are amazing. Thank you, Too Evil, Too Hope. You're always good for a brighten up, my friend. West Philly Black. Tomlin has as many Super Bowls as Ravens coach Harbaugh. They aren't calling for Harbaugh's job. Steelers fans should be fortunate to have a Hall of Fame coach as Tomlin. I don't think Harbaugh's good either, West Philly Black. I'm not sitting here acting like I think he's good. I don't talk about their team, though, all the time. But when the Steelers play the Ravens, I pointed out very much, a lot, that I think Harbaugh has failed miserably. When you're dumb enough to sign Lamar Jackson to a $50-some million a year contract and act like having a running back and quarterback is going to win you a championship, you deserve what you get. I mean, let's be honest. You deserve what you get. It is what it is. And I can guarantee you this, West Philly Black. There's many people that don't like Harbaugh inside of the Ravens fan base. And I know exactly why you're trying to spin the bullshit here. And you won't suck me into that, my friend. Just saying. I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm just telling you, you ain't going to suck me into the bullshit. But it is what it is. Malachi Smith, 3 generations of Steelers fans here. I have a 4th generation Steelers fan on the way, August 13th. Malachi Smith, well, congratulations to you, my friend. Congratulations, and I hope and pray everything works out amazing for you guys. And to have a 4th generation Steelers fan is absolutely amazing. Congratulations. Robert Road in the house. They wanted Harbaugh out many times in Baltimore. They almost fired him more than once before they got Lamar. Yeah, absolutely. I know what he's trying to do. I know what he's trying to imply. Too evil, too hope. Belichick, Brady, nah. Tomlin, Pickett. Yep. They should be. Guys, I had to have a Sprite today. So my son wanted McDonald's on a Friday. He wanted junk. So I went and got him that. He's playing basketball now with his friends. So, I went and got a Sprite, and I'm like, damn. And I can't get anything else out of it. Thanks, Sean. I'll see you tomorrow, man. Let me know what time you want to go on, Sean. I'll call you, or you can call me, whatever. Patrick, hey, would love to make you thumbnails for your YouTube channel. Let me know if you be down. Patrick, I appreciate the offer. I'm not paying for it, though, man. I'm sorry. I make my own. I don't make a lot off of YouTube, so I'm not paying for that. But I appreciate you offering. I've had many people email me, offer me. Many people, yeah. I've had some crazy offers. Steel 43, with or without Tomlin. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Craig Werlow in the house. Craig says, I don't trust Tomlin coaching staff. Rooney to turn this around. Mikey, wait. Should they try to get DK Metcalf? They already got DK. Douglas Ball in the house. Hey, Jay, what's up? Start Rudolph, period. It's the right decision. Steelers need to block Aaron Rodgers' phone number. Screw that old freak. Miguel Velez. I would like the Steelers to trade for Milton from the Pats. That's dumb too, guys. Sorry, Miguel. I am not on that one. I can't get on that train. That's not like no slight at you, Miguel. That's just saying, honestly, you as the Pittsburgh Steelers cannot go out there and make a trade for a quarterback right now because your feet are going to be held over the fire. Why? Because everybody knows you're desperate, guys. When people know you're desperate, you're not going to get any value. You have no bargaining chips. You don't have the upper hand, man. I know, Justin. I know they are all crazy. It sucks, man. It is a crazy time to be alive as a Pittsburgh sports fan. All right, guys, I need you to double tap that screen, hit that like button. It's a Friday, so we'll go a little extra time tonight. So, again, make sure you beat the shit out of that like button. We truly appreciate it here on Steel City Live. If you're not subscribed to the best YouTube channel on the whole platform, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. It's right here, Mic Drop Sports. Get yourself involved each and every day in the best community. And I'm not just saying that because, yeah, I do this. I stand and talk, but the community here is absolutely insane. They are so great. Absolutely awesome. Daniel, please hit the like button. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that, guys. DK is already a Steeler, Mikey. Yeah, Milton sucks, Miguel. I just can't get on board, man. He had one decent game against a team that wasn't even trying. I'm just saying. Rick Grimes, Jackson Dart. I'm down for that, Rick. I'm down for that. Yeah, he's on the Steelers, Mikey. Cray, Steelers could get someone like Riley Leonard, good passer, and knows how to lead a bad roster. Imagine him with DK and GP. Craig Werlow, this defense is getting older and older and very vanilla. As long as they keep have them live in their fears, a.k.a. Tomlin, they will go nowhere. Yeah, you got to start being better on defense, guys. You got to learn how to line things up a little bit different. You got to be a little bit more exotic in your presentation. You got to bring pressure from different locations. You can't rely on the front 3 or 4 to apply enough pressure constantly. I'm not saying that that's not a good fundamental basis to try to get as much pressure as you can with your base formation up front. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because you should be able to get immense pressure with your 4 up front. You should. But you got to bring extra pressure. You got to bring blitz packages. You got to bring confusion to offenses. And if you're not willing to do that, you are living in your fears and you're trying just to hold on and not make mistakes. And what does that do for you? It causes players to be out of position. It causes some players to try to do too much. Everybody isn't doing their job. It makes for a very, very, very tough situation for your defense. And Bill Belichick has it right, guys, when he talks about defensive football. Everybody do your job. And it goes for offense too. All 11 players have to do their job, whether the job is meaningless on that particular play or what. Whatever. If you feel it's meaningless, oh well, do it to the best of your ability, because I got to tell you this, from a coaching football at a youth level, I got to tell you, every player means something on every single play, and it's a significant piece to the puzzle. Every player has a significant role to play. And if every player isn't competing, isn't doing their job every single play, nothing will work, guys. You got to have everybody buy in. You can't have players out there pouting, i.e. George Pickens, that they're not getting the ball enough. You can't have players going 3/4 speed out there in the NFL. It doesn't work. Look, George Pickens cost the Steelers a touchdown pass to Pat Freiermuth in the biggest regular season game they played all season against the Kansas City Chiefs, the number 1 seed in the AFC Conference. You laced one down the middle of the field to Pat Freiermuth in the end zone, put it in the only place you could put it. The only place Russell could put it. But the safety jumped the route, intercepted the football because he was the over-the-top coverage on George Pickens. He saw George Pickens go half-ass, give a quarter effort, barely moving, and he jumped the route on Pat Freiermuth and was there. Russell anticipated that George Pickens was going to draw the double team, going to have the over-the-top help from the safety. Eric Reed jumps over, intercepts the football, and causes that game to really just spiral out of control. That's the truth. George Pickens took you out of that football game with one half-ass play. Took you completely out of it. You had no chance. That's the reality, my friends. All right, guys, some more of you people hit that like button for me, man. It's absolutely free. Doesn't cost you anything. It's easy to do. It's a tap of your phone screen. Well, double tap of your phone screen for most of you. If not, there's 3 little white dots up in the right-hand corner of the screen. Hit that. Again, super chats are always appreciated. And Mic Drop Mafia memberships are always appreciated also. That helps support the work and continue our road here to bring you daily content. Rodgers is a dumb choice. They let Fields go, so they low-key have to draft a quarterback now. Yeah, they didn't let Fields go. They made an offer to Fields, but somebody made an unreasonable offer, a stupid offer, an idiotic offer, a Jets-type offer, a New York football type offer. Guys, for 1 minute, if you think that Justin Fields got a fair offer, I don't know if you know football. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not. I just think you're drastically, grossly overestimating what Justin has done in this league, or maybe can do in this league. I'm just saying, I think you've grossly overvalued him. $40 million. If you're the Steelers, I'm sorry. You're not even close to 40. Justin Fields right now, guys, in reality, is a $7 to $10 million a year player at the quarterback position. That's what Justin's value is here. Right now, currently, in my eyes. The Jets were desperate when they didn't want to do business with Aaron anymore, which should tell the Steelers something. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers that didn't want to do business with the Jets anymore. It was the Jets not wanting to do business with Aaron anymore. And they knew they had to go out there and get a quarterback, so they grossly overpaid for Justin Fields, and basically that was about all they could do. They could have grossly overpaid for Sam Darnold, but where had he been before? I'm just saying. Just saying. Who are you talking about? James Sports. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Craig Werlow. Way it sounds Rodgers is waiting to see if the Vikings want him, and there it sounds it could happen. The way it sounds, let them have him, guys. Honestly, I think, again, somebody put into the chat, the Steelers should delete Aaron Rodgers' phone number. I think they should. You want to play second fiddle to somebody? No. Be the Steelers, guys. We had this conversation this week. Be the Pittsburgh Steelers for once. Go back to being the Pittsburgh Steelers and stop being the fucking Arizona Cardinals or the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Miami Dolphins. That's what the Steelers are acting like right now, guys. The Steelers are acting like those teams by playing this game with some fucking geriatric quarterback. 2 of them. And if you're Russell Wilson, what in your right mind would you ever want to come back to the Pittsburgh Steelers for in the first place? They clearly don't want you. You are clearly scraping the bottom of the barrel for them. Clearly. How do you show your face back in that building knowing that you weren't even the first 2-3 choices? Sam Darnold was above you. They wanted Sam Darnold before you. They wanted Justin Fields over you. They've wanted Aaron Rodgers over you. And they signed Mason Rudolph over you. Just saying. So at this point, we have all the help we can get. I'm not sure what you're talking about. D-Guy, if Rodgers goes to the Vikings, do you think we get J.J. McCarthy? No, they're not trading him. He's the future there. They're not trading J.J. McCarthy, D-Guy. And again, guys, if you're the Steelers, you can't do a quarterback trade here right now. You can't. You've made yourself look so foolish and desperate to the rest of this league, they will torch you in a trade. They will take advantage of you so bad. You are going to make an historically ugly deal if you make a deal like that, if you make a trade. Just saying. Oh, Craig Werlow. Oh, yeah, Larry O got suspended from the Bills for 6 games for juicing. Wow. Thank you, Miguel. Appreciate it. Mark Malone, we were limited by quarterback last year too. Yeah, they've been limited by quarterback for years, guys. And you're still going to get the same Tomlin product. This is still going to be the same thing. Oh, boy. Hold on, guys. I want to look for somebody here. I was trying to look for somebody that made a comment that I seen here. Oh, well. Bustin' and Midget did us no favors. Bustin'. Russ the Midget. Hey, what's up, Edward Rizerhands? I see you in the comments of some shows when I pop through. What's up, man? Yeah, people will be surprised, Mark, and I think they'll be surprised. You know what the crazy thing is? Is say the Steelers do roll with Mason as a starter, and they do pick up Shuck in the draft. If either one of those guys take off, these fans that are talking so much shit are going to be the first ones in this chat going, I told you guys, I told you they were going to be sick, man. I told you. Unlimited. Mr. Unlimited Moonballs. Moonballs is stupid. Unlimited is stupid too. I don't know why. He has some dumb shit. He needs a rebrand, man. Bengals suck. Nolan says go Bengals. CJ, you think that Caleb Johnson will fall to us in the third? It's hard to tell how that draft stuff goes, guys, honestly. Yeah, you could get Genty. I like what's his name? Hamilton out of North Carolina. I like the way he runs the football, boy. I think he looks like he translates to the NFL real well. So, I mean, if you can't get a Genty, I'd like Genty too. I'm not saying I don't, but I'm just saying if you can't get a Genty, maybe you get a Hamilton. Hey, boss, would you love? We did that. Cup to the Seahawks. Oh, did he go there? Banks cooking. We should just JS go get Rodgers. Just saying, go get Rodgers one season, see how he is. I mean, if that's what you want to do, but you can't overpay for a guy that's in a wheelchair. What do you think about Quinshawn Judkins? I think he's a good player. As a diehard Steelers fan, it hurts to see us become a QB graveyard, but we need to win now. Would you rather have Aaron Rodgers for a discount double check or Kirko Chains? That's from Devin Burkett. Thanks, Devin, for watching, buddy. I always appreciate your comments, man. I want neither. Aaron Rodgers, it would have to be an extremely cheap price in my eyes to bring Aaron Rodgers in. I'm talking like $20 million under. I would do that. Kirko Chains, I would never trade and take on that salary for Kirk Cousins. Sorry. So neither, Devin. I'm neither, man. But if I had to pick one or the other, man, probably Kirk because he's a little bit younger. Super Kenny, you're right, Lord. George Pickens is no help. He catches a few good ones and then loses the Steelers the game, and he is ruining the team with the way he acts. That's from D. Trade for Kirko Chains, then? I would never do that. Again, guys, trading is not a real good option right now. And if they do, you'll see how bad it is. And I believe all you people out there that are Steelers fans are going to be really, really upset with what they'd have to give up. All right, guys, make sure you're double tapping that screen. I need those likes to start climbing up there. We keep this show without ads on it, so show me some love for doing that to where you don't have to sit through any ads because I don't monetize it until after we're done, and when it uploads, then I monetize it. But, yeah, show me some love for keeping it ad-free for you guys and trying to get you involved. By hitting that like button. Again, it's absolutely free to do so. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Join us up here at Mike Drop Sports. We truly appreciate it. What games have pick and lost us? Trade for Kirko Chains, Robert Genty, and Hamilton will be gone before we pick. But there are a ton of good running backs in this draft. Yeah, it's pretty deep, man. Yeah, he'd be good. Guys, just because you think a player would be good doesn't mean anything. You can come up with all these, I could sit here and come up with all these crazy ideas. What if we traded for Patrick Mahomes? That's what that's like saying, guys. Guys that are under contract. Guys that are, it doesn't make any sense. And again, I'm not being ignorant. I'm just telling you the truth, guys. And when you come to Mike Drop Sports and you come to this show, Steel City Live, I'm always going to tell you the truth. D, I've seen little kids act more mature than Pickens. American militia, only kids think Lamar Jackson is the best QB. Yeah, people that just, all these people in the high school RPO bullshit that high school and college have just made so easy for these quarterbacks. They don't challenge them intellectually in any way. Everybody, yeah, a guy like Lamar is your guy. But if you want to have a complex passing offense, you got to have somebody that's going to stand back in that pocket and throw the football. I'm not saying the athleticism isn't something that you want, because of course you want it. But you got to have a pocket passer too. You got to have somebody that's going to be able to sit back there and process the defense quickly and allow themselves the opportunity to sit back in the pocket and be comfortable enough to step up in there and make high quality, accurate throws and move the football down the field. That's what matters most, guys. That's what wins championships. Guys that can throw the football. No, he's not. And if the Steelers would pay Aaron Rodgers $90 million for 2 years, guys, that is, I got to say it, and I'll say it now. It would be one of the worst moves in sports. I hate to say it, man. I do, because I don't want the Steelers to be a team that's labeled with one of the worst moves ever in sports. That would be one of those moves. Now, you could act like you're giving Aaron Rodgers a whole bunch of money. There's ways to structure these things to alleviate caps and things, or cap space and shit like that. So, yeah, and there's also ways to get out of contracts. So maybe you do, whatever you're going to pay him, you front end load it with whatever you're really willing to give him, and then have a way out in the second year of the contract to be able to void it off. Edward says, I've seen fetuses act more mature than Pickens. Let's keep going, guys. I'm just going through. Armand, what's up, man? My thoughts are on a top defensive tackle and very good swing offensive tackle. Quarterback, Pittsburgh will snag a Wentz, etc. I want Minshew and Mason win. Then draft one. Yeah, we'll see how it all goes, guys. There's several other options. You got June 1st, all that shit to come to. Dave took over. What's like Joe Burrow? Salvatore DeMarco, do you think Steelers can get Cameron Scattaboo in the third round? I don't know. Guys, the draft is so hard. Maybe. Probably not. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's just so really hard to guess. It's guesses, All right, guys, we've been going for almost 70 minutes here on the live stream. If you haven't hit that like button yet, make sure you hit it on your way out. But we're going to close up shop for here on a Thursday. Don't forget, I'll be with your boy Sean tomorrow here on Mike Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live. We will be back and doing it big, man. I will post early as I can of what time the show is. I'll make the thumbnail. I'll do all that. I'll make the link. That way you guys can share the living shit out of it for me. I truly appreciate that, and we'll see how tomorrow's show goes, but I think it'll be a very good one. And again, Sean and I will definitely go through free agency thus far this week of real turmoil for the Steelers, in my opinion, in a lot of ways. Some of the good, some of the bad. We'll talk how it affects the Pittsburgh Steelers roster and how this is going to affect this team long term. Also, we'll talk about the Steelers' first 2 picks in the 2025 NFL draft and where we think they should go and how they should approach this thing here moving forward. So until then, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live. Peace, my friends. See you on the next one.